Illinois sits at the very center of American commerce, functioning as a critical junction where industries, capital, and innovation converge. O'Hare International Airport ranks among the busiest aviation hubs on the planet, connecting millions of passengers and billions in economic activity every year. At the same time, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange plays a decisive role in shaping global commodity prices, from corn and wheat to cattle and oil, making Chicago one of the most influential financial cities in the world. This is also the birthplace of the modern skyscraper, the site of the first controlled atomic chain reaction, and the home of the McDonald's franchise system that redefined global fast food. Yet, despite this enormous economic footprint, the true power brokers, the families who quietly control vast segments of this ecosystem, remain largely invisible to the 12 million people living within their sphere of influence. Their names rarely appear in headlines, but their decisions shape industries, markets, and everyday life in ways most people never notice. Today, we are counting down the 12 richest families in Illinois, dynasties built not just on wealth, but on strategy, timing, and an ability to see opportunities long before the rest of the world catches up. Number 12. The Galvin family, the architects of modern communication. Before smartphones became extensions of our hands, before cellular networks spanned continents, and before wireless communication became a basic expectation of modern life, there was Paul Galvin working out of a modest workshop on Harrison Street in Chicago. In 1928, alongside his brother Joseph, Galvin founded the Galvin Manufacturing Corporation with a bold and unconventional idea: create a radio system that could function inside an automobile. At the time, this concept sounded almost impractical. Cars were noisy, unreliable environments for delicate electronics. But Galvin understood something others didn't. People would eventually demand connectivity, even while on the move. The product they introduced was branded Motorola, a clever fusion of motor and Victrola. It didn't just work, it transformed the driving experience. Almost overnight, it became a commercial success, proving that innovation often lies in solving problems people haven't yet realized exist. The second generation, led by Robert Galvin, expanded this early success into something far greater. During World War II, Motorola became a key supplier of two-way radios for the military, producing the iconic handheld walkie-talkie that changed battlefield communication. After the war, the company didn't slow down, it accelerated. It entered television manufacturing, advanced semiconductor development, and ultimately pioneered mobile communications. In 1983, Motorola introduced the first commercially available handheld mobile phone, marking the beginning of a new era. At its peak, Motorola employed more than 150,000 people and operated in nearly every country in the world. Its research labs produced innovations that competitors spent decades trying to replicate. But what truly set the Galvin family apart was not just technological execution, it was strategic foresight. They recognized that communication would evolve into the backbone of modern civilization, and they positioned Motorola at the center of that transformation. Decade after decade, Motorola rode successive waves of innovation: car radios in the 1930s, military communications in the 1940s, television in the 1950s, semiconductors in the 1960s, Pegas in the 1970s, and cellular phones in the 1980s. Very few companies in history have managed to stay relevant across so many technological shifts without losing momentum. Today, many people associate Motorola with older devices, flip phones or walkie-talkies, especially in a world now dominated by products like the iPhone. But that perception overlooks a deeper truth. The Galvin family helped build the invisible infrastructure that makes modern wireless communication possible. Every call you make, every message you send, and every piece of data you transmit relies on principles that Motorola helped commercialize nearly a century ago. Eventually, the company was divided into Motorola Solutions and Motorola Mobility. Motorola Mobility passed through Google before being acquired by Lenovo. But the Galvin legacy cannot be reduced to corporate transactions. It is embedded in the very fabric of global communication. Their true achievement was not a product, it was building the foundation for an entire industry. Number 11. The Duchossois family, masters of quiet dominance. Craig Duchossois took a relatively modest manufacturing inheritance and methodically transformed it into a powerful industrial group that operates largely outside public awareness. Unlike high-profile tech founders or media personalities, the Duchossois family built their fortune in a category so ordinary that most people never think about it. At the core of their empire is the Chamberlain Group, the manufacturer behind LiftMaster, the leading garage door opener brand in North America. On the surface, garage door openers seem insignificant. But from a business perspective, they represent something incredibly powerful: a deeply embedded, habit-driven market. LiftMaster controls an estimated 60% of the professional grade segment. Contractors install it by default, builders include it in new homes, and once installed, homeowners tend to replace it with the same brand out of habit. This creates a cycle of built-in demand that is extremely difficult for competitors to disrupt. The Duchossois family didn't just sell a product, they secured a position inside millions of homes, generating recurring revenue with minimal visibility. Their fortune, estimated at around $3 billion, reflects the strength of that strategy. For decades, the family also owned the prestigious Arlington International Racecourse, a landmark in American horse racing. In 2021, they sold the property to Churchill Downs for approximately $197 million. The story didn't end there. The land was later acquired by the Chicago Bears as a potential site for a new stadium, turning what was once a racetrack into a central asset in a multi-billion-dollar sports infrastructure negotiation. It was a perfectly timed exit. The Duchossois family converted a legacy asset into maximum financial value at exactly the right moment, demonstrating the importance of patience and timing in wealth preservation. Despite these achievements, their name rarely surfaces in public conversation. They don't dominate headlines, and their products don't generate excitement or cultural buzz. But that's precisely what makes their strategy so effective. They operate with near zero public visibility while collecting revenue from a product installed in more than 50 million American homes. Their empire proves a powerful point. Building wealth isn't about attention, it's about control. You don't need to create a glamorous brand or a viral product to build a billion-dollar dynasty. Sometimes, the most effective strategy is to dominate a simple, essential function that people rely on every single day. The Duchossois family didn't just build a business, they built a system that quietly integrates into everyday life. And in doing so, they demonstrated that real power often operates behind the scenes, far from spotlight.